Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network, hope we're safe and well. Are we excited? Are we excited? We haven't played for a while. We haven't played at home for ages as well, it seems. But we welcome Brentford to the London Stadium at a 3:00 kickoff. Unbelievable, Jeff. We did the morning show outside the stadium and I ran back to do this show. Then I'm going to run back to be the butter monkey. Otherwise, the teams would be stuck in the tunnel and none of them will be ready to. They'll be like, we can't go out. Bubbles ain't playing yet. But anyway, anyone new to the channel, and thanks. We've had quite a few new subscribers in the last. So I'm trying to sort this mic out a little bit. In the last few days, so thank you. What we try and do a couple of hours before is try and predict the 11 with practically no success to get it 100%. If we're being totally honest. But the idea is to talk about and digest and get your views as well. So don't forget to give us your starting 11s in the comments below. So from the Graham Potter press conference that took place on Thursday, since then, obviously, you've had a couple of days more training. It does seem he's given a few hints in terms of how the team's going to look like, particularly with reference to our returning players from injury. It pretty much sounds like Paqueta's going to start. Alvarez is going to start. Todibo is more likely to be on the bench. You never know. Somerville, no. Somerville's re-aggravated his, or a different part of his hamstring. And then we've got Fulkrug and obviously Antonio out with long-term injuries. So that's where we are. Simple. So what we've got to do is put the 11 together. So. And also, he mentioned about Evan Ferguson. However, Ferguson hadn't played a lot of football. So whether he starts and then gets taken off or whether he's on the bench and then comes on. It's clear he's going to get minutes, but whether it's starting minutes or, coming off the bench minutes, I would suggest starting minutes, honestly, just because of the type of player that Evan Ferguson is, in my humble opinion. So, let's start. Let's have a bit of a play and see what we can do, shall we? As he actually said to the bishop. There we go. Right. Let's start with. I don't know why I did that noise. I do apologise. This is not an ASMR channel. Let's start with in goal. Now, in goal, Areola. Now, we spoke about yesterday actually how he's not entirely convinced about Areola. Well, we're led to be believed, according to reports, that he's not entirely convinced with Areola. Season upgrade potentially there. The Roma keeper is a player we've been linked with. Obviously, what's his face in Liverpool, and potentially an Aaron Ramsey if Southampton go down. He'll be available, we'd imagine. But in the meantime, in terms of the available goalkeepers, I think Areola is our man. Just in terms of, as I said, from a shot stopping perspective, I think him and Fabianski have a lot of similarities. I think Fabianski commands his box better than Areola, but I think Areola's distribution is better. I think for Potter, that's the main important thing in terms of that distribution. So he's in. I would suggest. Right, let's think. Maybe go back to front. Let's go back to. I think Ferguson will start. And then because the type of player Evan Ferguson is, he's not an impact player. He's not going to, an impact player, you want someone who's going to have the pay. I mean, I always look at him as being like a modern day John Hartson. Now, if I'm chasing the game, would I bring on John Hartson? Unless I'm going to put in on JWP and ping balls in there, I want someone who's going to run on beyond. So it might be in a rehash. So maybe taking off someone like Evan Ferguson, bringing on someone like Luis Guilherme, for example, or and moving everyone around a bit. That's what I think we would do more likely. So Evan, I could see him starting maybe. He's on loan. It's a dry loan. There's no moisture involved in this loan at all. Let's get him in and let's get him going and see what happens, innit? So I'm going to sort of work back to front because I think that the right hand side is going to be quite interesting. I think now, if we're led to believe that Jean-Claire isn't. Yeah. Okay, if we assume that Jean-Claire isn't going to start, then for me, you have Kilman in the middle, and then you have Cresswell on the left-hand side. If Jean-Claire is available, then Kilman goes on the left-hand side and Jean-Claire in the middle. Yes. And then Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. That's what I would do. Whether Graham Potter does it is another thing. And he gets paid the big bucks. So he knows far more about the game than I do. But from a fan's perspective, that's what I would like to see as a back three. So I think Jean-Claire's been training a lot more than we make out he has, personally. But okay, let's go on the assumption. Let's take Potter by his word, and let's say he's going to be in the squad. And the reason why I put Cresswell in is I know some people don't like Cresswell in that position, but I think in terms of what we've got available, I think he's actually probably for that left-hand side. If you're not going to play, Kilman has been the only recognised centre half in those three. I mean, he won't. I mean, Mav's been on the bench, but he hasn't brought. Play Mav. He might play him, but I just think, I'm just trying to work the play. It's nice because actually we've got players available, so we've got options now, which is probably the first time that Potter's had this available to him, which is great, and I'm all for it. I'm loving it. It's a headache. It's a nice headache rather than he's got too many square pegs now to put in the square holes rather than having to make do with round pegs in circle hole. I don't know what I'm talking about at that time. I never get that expression right. Right, midfield. We're going to welcome back Alvarez. We know that. He said he's trained, so you welcome him back. He will also play Thomas Souček. That's one of his guys now, isn't it? Souček is one of his guys, and that's. And I'm all for that. I think you need a balance. You can't be. And I think there could be justification to have someone a bit more progressive in that position, but for effort and for commitment, you can't doubt the man. And so if we did that, then I think he would play Emmy on the left wing back position. That's not saying he might play Ollie Scars in that left wing back position. He could do, but I've got a feeling that what he's trying to do is bring in Ollie there, gradually. Now he was due to he was due to play last Friday. The under 21s, Lewis played, Caden played, and we were led to be believed that he was going to play, but there was a late call for him not to play. So read that into how you will, whether they didn't want to risk him. I don't know. Well, we'll leave it like that. Right. So let's play around with this other a little bit. Now, if I'm gonna put Bowen here again, and people are gonna say, "Oh, he's wasted there." And Bowen, that's how Bowen's up and down this. If you look at his stats and you look at what he did last year in double figures for goals and assists, he pretty much was up and down the right hand side all day under Moisey, weren't he? Really. So, and as I said, Potter's full wingbacks are not wingers, sort of defenders. They're more wingers. So that's why I think eventually you would see a situation where you will put Somerville instead of where Emerson is, and that would be very horny. And then I think we go obviously with Kudus and Paqueta playing in that role. So something like that. Obviously, it's a bit more. It's almost a 3-3-3-1, really, in all honesty, because Emmy sort of will sit in that midfield a little bit more. Could we have any differences? Yes, we could. There could be a situation where Ferguson doesn't start Paqueta, and I mean, he was very complimentary about Paqueta actually in that 10 role and said he was man of the match for the Villa game. We could have something like this, I would imagine. Possibly. And if you're not going to play Sufal there, then you would bring in Mav potentially. That is dependent on whether, and then that sort of front three would change, obviously, Caduce and Bowen. But that's how if Ferguson wasn't starting, but I've got a feeling he'll start because I just think he'll start. I think he'll start, but not on the assumption that he's going to play. Oh, I don't know now. I'm double guessing myself. Bringing Evan Ferguson on. And then you got JWP as well. You could bring them both on, and I think that could work. You might start like this to start with. Brentford are a dangerous side. They are. I mean, you've seen the stat attack we put out yesterday. You've got Embuemo's their top goal scorer with 14 goals. Damsgaard's got like one of the top assisters in the Premier League. There, you need to have a solid base against Brentford, and it's typically, until recently, they haven't really done it away from home, but now they are. Enter West Ham, so yeah, we'll find out. I think what will be interesting to see is what happens. I think after the international break, Potter has assumed that, Potter's mentioned that he's more likely to be bringing in what's name back. Somerville will be back from injury. We play Arsenal away in the 22nd, isn't it? And then we play. Yes, we've got the Sunday game, then we've got the 22nd, then we've got the Thursday, and then it's the international. Is it then it's the international break? Yeah, then it's the international break. Then we've got Newcastle on the 10th. So again, a long period after the end of February. So we've still got, so that makes sense. That makes sense, doesn't it? You play on the month. Yeah, we play on this. Yeah, so I think then we'll have something about. Then, unfortunately, we've only got about 4, but after about a dozen games left, if that, and then that's the end of the season. But it'd be great to see when everyone's fit, including then Evan Ferguson, integrated into the side, what Potter will be all about, because they'll all, hopefully, touch wood, none of them be injured then. But let me know what in comments below what you think. As I said, I'll be running around after the game, hopefully trying to get some people's opinions after the game. Hopefully after a victory. That'd be nice. And then next week we should have the Lunik McCloskey Appreciation Night with Martin Godman, the voice of West Ham United. Plus, also we're going to be booking in. We've got some really quite interesting interviews. Vex players booked in next couple of weeks. We might hang fire on one of them until March, the international break. Maybe not. We'll see. But the only way you can make sure you don't miss any of our content is by commenting, subscribing particularly. So go and check down there. There's a little grey, there's a red button. If it's red and it says subscribe, you're not subscribed. You click it, it goes grey, you're subscribed. And if you want to be notified of when as soon as we put stuff up, hit that bell notification, select all, and you get all of our content notified as and when it's been up. But anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, enjoy the game, and see you guys soon. Much love. Bye, see you guys, my fuckers.